Hello, this is Brian again. I'm over by Falcon Group Campground. Was going to make this a quiet video set, but just been checking out these trees here. See, the main meadow is just over this way. Long Canyon Road cuts through that way behind this hill. So I just came up to this knoll here. I remember back in October I did a video in the actual meadow talking about jeffrey pines. Or I found a jeffrey pine over there. I think I found another one. I think I found another jeffrey pine or something like that. These cones right here. Are you serious? These look like jeffrey pine cones again. Try to see which one of these might be it, or which ones of these might be them. Alright, here's one right here. This one's got the smaller cones. Wow! Are you serious? Well, looks like my visit here was definitely not in vain. I mean, it hasn't been even up until this point, but now I'm finding more jeffrey pines around here. That just went up another notch of interesting. Alright, I'm going to have to do some sniff tests. Sniff for the vanilla in the bark is what I mean by sniff tests, but let's see. I don't smell anything on this one. But there appears to be more jeffrey pines here than I thought. I guess the forester planted jeffreys here on top of coulter pines. Most of these are coulter pines, of course. This one right here looks like this would be a good contender for a jeffrey pine. Needles are shorter. This actually, just like the one I was pointing out on October 11th down in Los Pinos Potrero, that one actually had really long needles, just like the coulter pines. The needles are really long. And the tree looked just like another one of the coulter pines here. And here I am walking around this part, and I'm finding more trees that appear more like jeffrey pines than anything else. And the needles look jeffrey-like too. Here's another one right here. Not really smelling the vanilla on that one, but yeah, I can't even tell because there are no cones in the tree that I can see from here. But I'm a big fan of jeffrey pines. I talk about them a lot in my higher mountain videos when I'm hiking in say the San Gabriels or San Bernardinos, and even the Sierras. I come across them, and you know, I always talk about, oh, what a beautiful big jeffrey pine and da 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 da. I think this is a jeffrey pine too, because the needles are definitely more jeffrey-like than coulter-like. Then again, sometimes characteristics can be overlapping because they are related trees in the same group, the yellow pines. I'm trying to see if I smell vanilla. I can't really smell. I'm a little congested. The wind is blowing a lot of dust. I don't really smell any vanilla on this one either. But yeah, this looks more like a jeffrey pine, but there are no cones in this one either. I guess the Forest Service planted both coulters and jeffreys here. If that's the case, then some of these might be hybrids. I don't see any cones in this tree at all. This one definitely looks more jeffrey-like than coulter-like. And it can be pretty similar, but coulter pines usually have longer needles. I keep seeing cones, but they're in the neighboring tree, which are definitely coulter pine cones. But that tree definitely looks more jeffrey-like. A little narrower than your coulter pine. So yeah, we got some Pinus jeffreyi around here too. Yeah, I keep seeing cones, but they're in that tree there, and that's definitely by far a coulter pine. I'm also checking to make sure I'm not looking at ponderosas too, because ponderosas can be quite similar to jeffreys as well. So I am entertaining the possibility I don't know, something made me take a walk down this way from the top of the knoll. Did a video of that knoll back in December. So I'm going to come down here, check it out, and see what I can find. And I start walking over here. And here we go, seeing small cones on the ground, which definitely, some of these look like Monterey pine cones a little bit, but this is not a Monterey pine, I can tell you that right now. And there's on these old cones here, they have the prickle facing down. And Monterey pine cones are a lot more asymmetrical. They are very crooked cones usually, kind of lopsided. But yeah, this is probably a Jeffrey pine too. Wow, I didn't realize there were that many contenders. I mean, I was wondering if there were more of them when I first did that one video when I was down in the meadow looking at that real hefty one. So I'm going to keep my eyes out, kind of explore this area a little bit more. I'm also surprised they don't plant gray pines around here. They probably do pretty well. I noticed there were a lot of knobcone pines here too, but a lot of those knobcone pines, some of them down here have died off, haven't been doing so well, and then some of them are still very luscious and green. So I guess I better explore this a little bit more. There might be more Jeffrey pines around here than I thought. That one definitely, that one and that one definitely look like Jeffrey pines. Well, that's cool. We even got Jeffrey pines in here too. Now I gotta be careful walking through here. It's a windy day and I'm walking through Coulter pine groves. Well, I see our Coulter cones on the ground here, so this just might be a couple of, just a couple of them around here. It's very breezy today. The weather's delightful. I mean, it's nice and cool up here. It's probably in the 50s right now. It's definitely below 60 degrees. It's a nice, cool late morning. Yeah, right now I'm not seeing any Jeffrey contenders right this minute. These all look like Coulter pine cones here. But I am looking around. So if there are Jeffrey, and there are definitely a couple of Jeffrey pines around here. So what does that mean? Well, I told you earlier that Jeffrey and Coulter pines are closely related. They're both members of the yellow pine group. In other words, they're related to the ponderosas. So they're in the ponderosa / yellow pine group. So a lot of times when trees are closely related to, species are related to one another, they can tend to hybridize. I think, oh, look at this, I think I'm joining the Falcon Trail. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, a little footbridge here. I think this is what would lead into Hot Springs Canyon. This area might not officially be open, so not really going to go too far in. I just wanted to see if there are any more Jeffrey pine looking trees around here. But yeah, it's really neat. It's kind of neat. So I think this is the trail that would lead you down into Hot Springs Canyon, but I think it might not be available for hiking right this minute. Like I said, I saw that sign. I saw a sign in one of my other videos today saying trail closed. But it's a beautiful part of the area. Yeah, I know, I come here a lot, and I've probably been here more times than any other place in the last year and a half. But I keep finding cool little surprises every time I come to this area. And apparently, like I said, I guess there are more Jeffrey pines than I thought here. I mean, I explored over by the other side of Blue Jay Campground, near where that one bigger Jeffrey pine is, the one with the really long needles. And I didn't see any other trees that were Jeffreys that I could tell were Jeffrey pines. Looked like they were mostly more of the Coulter pines. So sometimes taking a fresh look at an area really can give you some neat perspectives. That's why when I do come here, I do shoot a lot of video here at the campground area, but I don't like to just shoot from the same exact areas all the time. Otherwise, people might get kind of bored watching those videos all the time, unless there are different seasons. Like, I want to come here in spring and see what the wildflower situation's like. I don't know if it's going to be a very good wildflower season, because this has been a ridiculously dry winter. But yeah, see, as we go over towards Falcon Group Campground, last month I did a video about these trees, wondering if they were really Monterey pines, and yeah, they are. They're definitely Monterey pines. I know I put up some comments about them. There's another curious pine. Oh, that's a Coulter pine. I can tell by the cone in the tree. There's one cone up in the higher part of the tree. I was thinking that could be a good contender for a Jeffrey pine. Then I shot some video from a little further up this little gulch, over by where there were some incense cedars. And then I went over here, got some, you know, rapping about the Monterey pines for quite a while. But I wanted to see a little bit further down and see how it is here. What I think about it, some of these Monterey pines are quite large. They're a pretty nice sized tree. I know they can get, Monterey pines can get up to especially, they seem to plant them a lot in New Zealand. Yeah, they plant them a lot in New Zealand and Australia, and plantations in the southern hemisphere. And those trees do amazingly well. And those trees can grow incredibly fast. These Monterey pines are quite luscious looking too. Just that little dead piece right there is just from a branch break. But some of these Monterey pines are really incredibly lush. And yeah, I found another Jeffrey. So I guess we got more Jeffrey pines here than I thought. I'm seeing more right now. Here. I think, yeah, this is the one I visited already. Yeah, but look at it. These cones are definitely indicative of Pinus jeffreyi. I mean, they're a little bit different looking. They're a little bit smaller. That's why I was actually trying to scrutinize them a little bit more to make sure I wasn't looking at ponderosa. But the prickles, they face down and backward a little bit, so that's indicative of Jeffrey pine. So I guess we got more Jeffrey pine than I thought here. That's really cool. I like that. Like I said, I think a lot of Jeffrey pines. I see them. I mean, you go up to the San Gabriel mountains, the San Bernardino mountains, the San Jacinto mountains, and other parts of the Southern California mountains, and all the way up the Sierras, and Jeffrey pines are everywhere. I mean, everywhere. It's probably the most common pine in Southern California's mountains would be Jeffrey pine, most likely. Definitely more common than ponderosa. And then Coulter pine would probably come pretty close too, though. But yeah, apparently they got Jeffreys down here. It might not be warm enough to really smell the vanilla, but the sun's out and it's nice and sunny, so maybe we try another sniff. Oh yeah, I can smell it. Yeah, I can smell it. It smells like vanilla. Oh yeah, it's not very strong, but it's definitely there. If you sniff it closely enough, you sniff the bark closely enough, now that the sun's out and it's warming up a little bit here, you can definitely tell that that's a Jeffrey pine. I think both of these are Jeffrey pines too. This one right here I think is a Coulter pine, this sapling right here. But yeah, I think if you're in the sunnier side of the tree, you'll probably get more of that vanilla smell. So yeah, so there are at least 4 Jeffrey pines in this area, at least. I'm trying to get up to this tree without jabbing myself on the branches. Yep, I can smell it in here too. A little bit. You can smell a little bit of vanilla sweetness coming out of that one. Really be cool if they had grape pines here. That would really be cool. Because grape pines, Coulter pines, Jeffrey pines, they're all related. Well, pines are related in general, but Coulter pines, Jeffrey pines, and grape pines, they're in the yellow pine group, the ponderosae, section ponderosae of the pines. One more sniff test. Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. Probably for a warmer day, you would smell it more clearly. And when I went to that one Jeffrey pine down in Los Pinos Potrero, you could smell that one clear as day. That was it was kind of a warm October day, so you could smell it very clearly. Wow. So yeah, we got more Jeffrey pines than I thought here. I guess once I'm done with this video, I'm going to post another set of vouchers on CalFlora. I like to do that when I find trees, especially in areas where I don't expect to find them, or shrubs or plants or anything. I like to put the vouchers on calflora.org because I like looking at those to try to find places where I could go and find a certain species of plant, shrub, tree, whatever. And so I like to post vouchers so other people looking in places you wouldn't expect to maybe see something, you can find it there. Just look on my vouchers, and I try to be very precise when I map it. Before I go, look at this nice old coast live oak right here. So it's a lot more to this place than even I thought. So if you don't want to have to drive up if you live like towards LA, or where I live, or if you live in Orange County like I do, and you don't want to drive for an hour and a half to 2 hours to go to a trailhead to see these trees, come here by Blue Jay and Falcon Group Campgrounds, and you'll get if you want to be in the pines without having to drive far. Now, here you go. 2 Jeffrey pine. You want to see some of our little bit of yellow pine stuff? Here it is. So I guess that'll do it for this video. But first though, look at this Coulter pine. Wow! That's an amazing specimen right there. It's not extremely tall. None of the Coulter pines here are extraordinarily tall. The tallest ones I've ever seen are on Palomar Mountain, and they're like 130, 140 feet tall almost. And they look more like ponderosas sometimes. But look at the trunk. I mean, it's got a lot of lower branches here, so it's kind of hard to get over there, but this tree's got a nice sized trunk, very heavy branches. This is a beautiful tree right here. So I guess this is kind of like a follow-up to my conifers of Blue Jay Campground from January 17th. So thanks for watching. Come out here and check out the pines. If you don't want to drive all the way to Big Bear to see Jeffrey pines, well, you can come to Blue Jay Campground. Falcon Group Campground is just over that hill right there. Blue Jay Campground is just on the other side of this hill. There's the meadow, and then Blue Jay Campground's over there. So if you want some of our higher mountain trees, like this tree can sometimes grow up to 10,000 feet in elevation, come see them here at 3,300 feet. Thanks for watching. See you on the next episode of my videos.